Oh, so what you're saying is that you've changed your answer?
I think that what this question taught me was sometimes I have to not just get my feet into the question writer's shoes, but get my whole body into their clothing and their skin.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Doing good?
Doing good. You're very black and white.
Oh, I thought I would dress up sort of like tuxedo style for today. You know,
I didn't even think of that.
Celebrating. It was a look I was going for.
I like it. Very nice.
Thanks.
You put some thought into that. I also did black and white to celebrate.
So today we're doing something a little fun, a little different.
Yeah.
We are going to combine a few ideas. So last year, in case our Shandies remember, we did a best of 2022 episode to wrap the year. And that was mainly based on the fact that I was in France and you were still here and we were separate unexpectedly. And so we needed to kind of have something. And I ended up really loving what we came up with, which was a roundup of our best Q&A questions of the year.
Yeah.
But since we are in person this year, I also wanted to add on something else. So we are going to do best of 2023 Q&A questions, but also favorites of 2023, like sort of 2023 in review.
Best of.
Best of. And we polled our Shandies over on Instagram to submit questions. So we're going to just sort of combine the two today. Sound good? Great.
Sounds fun.
Shall we get going?
Yeah.
And does it actually sound fun or are you just bearing with it?
No, it sounds good. I like reviewing years. It's a long pastime of mine.
All right. So first question, favorite book or books of 2023? Do you want to go first, Andy?
Sure. So my favorite book was a little dour, but it was good.
It's very you.
It is very me. I read a few dour books this year. This was the best dour book.
You, in fact, just read dour books mainly.
No, that's not true.
Harrowing nonfiction is your main category.
That is my favorite genre. But it was Dispatches by Michael Hare.
Okay.
And he was a real correspondent during the Vietnam War. It's, to me, it's the quintessential getting to the heart of what the Vietnam War was from the soldier's perspective and from the perspective of someone who was really in it, in it. And it's amazing. It sort of reads like a novel, but it's also nonfiction. If you're interested in the Vietnam War or just interested in the human experience in its extreme form, fantastic book. Tremendous book.
Wow. Okay. Very nice, Sandy. It's funny. I find it's funny. It's funny how with books, we don't communicate at all.
No.
We don't discuss our books at all. Like books come in, books go out, and we're reading different books. We never read the same books. We never discuss our books with each other.
It's interesting.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I'll yell to you like once in a while I'll read a sentence that's really beautiful or poignant and I'll yell at you and you're like, oh wow, and you'll do the same with me, but I don't even know what book you're talking about when you say it.
Yeah. I would say 2022 was a better book year for me if I'm honest.
Oh.
Not that I'm picking favorites, but I did read quite a few books this year and my favorite novel runner-up is Yellowface by, I'm looking at it right now, R.F. Kuang. But my favorite in terms of hitting home for me, I read this book at a time that I felt like I sort of needed to. And it's not new, by the way. I think it actually might be from 2022 or even earlier. But it's Midnight Library by Matt Haig. And it just sort of was the right book I needed to read at the time that I read it this year. And I won't need to explain that.
You did tell me about this book.
Yeah.
And it sounds very interesting.
Yeah. It's just about the idea of living different existences, different lives. And it was feel good and not too heavy and just what I needed at that time. And for nonfiction, this will come as no surprise. It was Women Without Kids by Ruby Warrington. I will link out our episode here. Okay.
You cheated. I didn't know we got 3.
All right. Favorite escape rooms of 2023. We actually put this together because we wanted to make sure we had it right because we take our escape rooms very seriously.
Very seriously.
Yes. So our third place winner is Undermined at Room Escape Ottawa.
Ottawa. Respect.
Ottawa's on the map. Yeah. This was a good one. We
Very
did it
good. With your sister.
With my sister and her boyfriend. Yeah. And it was very fun. Second place is Storyteller's Secret at Boxaroo in Boston.
Yeah. We that was on our trip to Salem.
Yeah. On the way back, we went out of our way to do this escape room and it was worth it.
I mean, let's be honest. That whole trip was based around that escape room.
And it was great. It was really fun. And our favorite escape room of 2023, this is a big deal. Should we give it a drum roll? No? is Heresy 1897 at Doors of Divergence in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's great.
Highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Very interactive. We'll put it that way.
Yes.
Third question, favorite animal interaction of 2023. Andy, do you have one?
Well, I have a lot, but I'm going to go with the little baby deer that I saw right on our porch at the Airbnb we were staying at upstate when we just did a little getaway.
It was a fawn.
A fawn, right. I kept thinking this morning, what's a baby deer called? It's a fawn. I kept thinking of a doe, but that's a female deer.
Yeah.
A female deer.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ray. A
drop of golden sun. Yeah.
Okay, fawn, very cute. It was super cute.
So cute. And I just woke up and it was early in the morning and I was just staying there and it was just looking at me. And it was looking at me. It was like, if you move 1 inch, I'm off. And I just stayed frozen and I looked at it.
It's one of those moments that just connects you with something greater than yourself.
Yeah.
You just see a creature like that. You're like, what's going on in that mind? What's it thinking right now as I sit here sipping my coffee at this Airbnb?
It's in a pure meditative state. It's not thinking about anything. It's just
instinct.
Present. Just present.
Okay, for mine, there's a cat named Oliver at a bodega. Is it bodega?
It's a grocery store.
A grocery store.
It's one of the oldest family-owned grocery stores in New York City.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
well,
Shandy's.
It's near us, and they have this cat named Oliver.
Yeah.
And Oliver is a cat that you've mostly bonded with over the years, but I had this one visit to Zingoni's where I was just petting Oliver, and I realized that his collar thing around his neck was really tight, and I was kind of getting in there, like right under there, like moving it around and like just rubbing his neck under there, and he was so into it. We spent like 15 minutes together in the grocery store.
Oh, I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, I was just kneeling down, like rubbing him.
So you finally bonded with Oliver.
I really did. I felt like he was like, yes, you finally, thank you. Someone is touching me in that spot. I've had such an itch.
And you know what? Oliver will never forget that.
Really?
No, because once I bonded with Oliver, and it's been like, I mean, Oliver's got to be like 18 years old at this point. But I bonded with him a long time ago. And after that, every time he sees me, he comes over, rubs against me, lets me pet him, does the whole thing, goes on his back, gives me his tummy. It's a very good time.
I think bodega cats are the funniest thing about the city.
They're on the clock. They're working.
Yeah.
They're employees.
And they love it.
And they know it.
All right. That brings us to the first Q, making our best of 2023. So this was episode 270. Question number 5. My boyfriend sucks at driving and wants to borrow my new car. Everything about this question. First, there was just the question being asked, but we ended up looking at it from another angle, really, which brought us Red Wine Lucy.
Red Wine Lucy. Bless her heart.
I assume, Andy, you don't change your...
Oh, no.
Okay.
If anything, it's gotten stronger.
Yeah, same. It's funny. Sometimes when we answer these, because, we answer them on the spot. We don't plan our answers at all. And sometimes when I watch it back, I feel like, oh, I kind of went a little hard on that. Or sometimes I'll be like, oh my God, I feel even more strongly. This is one of the I feel even more strongly ones.
There's only one answer to this question.
Yes. Okay, so we'll roll the clip. All right, this next question is from another anonymous. Dear Shandy, my boyfriend sucks at driving. He has gotten into 3 major accidents in 18 months with his car needing thousands of dollars in repairs, including a whole new engine and clutch. He has driven over a pipe in the road, a cinder block, and last week got in an accident with an impaired driver. I have been empathetic to his car struggles and have tried to be supportive in any way I can. I recently got a brand new Tesla, my first car that I saved up a ton for. The day I got the car, my boyfriend asked to drive it and I grimaced. I am scared to let him drive my car because of his track record. I have never been in an accident and he has been in around 6 and has totaled 2 cars. I mean,
this guy shouldn't be allowed to drive. How does he still have a license?
I do eventually want to have us share the car since we live together, but I am terrified of letting him drive my car. I don't know if I should be strict and never let him drive or have him somehow prove to me that he can drive safely, which just feels icky and not like my character. Maybe a defensive driving course? Please help. Anonymous. She is 27 female. He is 29 male.
He's never allowed to drive her car, period.
Yeah, she's saved up. It's her car. It's her money. It's her car.
I won't let her. I don't care. I don't care if it ruins relationship. He's not driving your car.
No.
Period.
I'm sorry.
And he needs help. There's something wrong with this guy.
3 major accidents in 18 months.
That's insane.
He has been in around 6 accidents and total 2 cars.
This guy's going to die on the road.
It's interesting. He has driven over a pipe in the road, a cinder block in last week. So like, I understand getting in an accident with an impaired driver. That's not on him. But
how do you know it wasn't his fault? Just because the guy was impaired doesn't mean he also wasn't to blame.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Okay. I feel this is a short answer. Don't let him drive your car. I don't think you need to explain yourself. I think it's pretty obvious. I kind of can't believe that he's asking to drive her car with his track record.
It's insane. It's like, have you ever seen the movie Final Destination?
Final Destination?
Yeah. Final Destination. It's not a movie you would see. It's a horror movie.
Oh, okay.
It's basically like this thing where
that sounds like a horror
basically
movie.
You're like, there's people who are marked for death and there's nothing they can do. Like they could sit in a room alone, like with a straitjacket with the doors locked, and somehow death is going to find them in a really horrible way.
Oh,
it's just a terrible movie. It's really
How are
horrible.
they marked for death?
I don't remember. It's been a while since the last Final Destination. There was probably like 7 Final Destinations.
Oh,
so it was a lot. It was actually never the final. It was just like almost the Final Destination. But we're getting there.
And the near final destination.
Yeah. I think 7 was the final
it's
destination.
the penultimate destination.
Yeah, the final destination. But they were marked. And this guy is like the final destination of car crashes. Like he can't escape car crashes. And honestly, maybe it's just bad luck. What I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt by bringing in the Final Destination analogy.
Yeah.
Like maybe he's just like in the worst car luck in the world.
Yeah.
Either way, this guy needs to stop driving. I'm not kidding. He needs to take public transportation. He shouldn't be allowed to drive any car, and absolutely should not be allowed to drive your brand new Tesla.
Oh man, she says it feels icky to have him somehow prove to her that he can drive safely. I do not think that's icky. That's just you being a reasonable person who has seen what he has done with other cars and been like, actually, maybe you should give, say, like defensive driving a go. I think a defensive driving course is a good call.
And also, we're not talking about Apple earbuds.
Huh?
We're not talking about like, can I borrow your Apple earbuds? Sorry, no, that was a really rough segue. I'm sorry about that. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like, can I borrow your earbuds? Like, you have a tendency to lose things. And, okay, what is it? $100?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario?
Yeah.
This is someone's life. He could kill people. He could kill himself. Her relationship could be over, but he's at a hospital.
And also, a Tesla isn't cheap, and it's her first car. She's saved up for it. This is a huge investment on her part.
This is a life and death and money. This is a serious situation.
Yeah.
He cannot drive her car.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was quick. Can you picture anyone disagreeing with us on this?
No. You'd have to be you'd have to be a bad person. You'd have to be someone who wants to cause damage to the world.
Or maybe you're someone who's been in a lot of accidents and none of them were your fault. And so we're like maligning this guy for his track record. But some of these things he did.
How many people do you know who've gotten in 3 car accidents in 18 months and none of them were their fault? How is that possible?
Yeah. I mean, defensive driving is a thing. And you can be on a road driving and you see someone doing that kind of thing and you're like, ooh, I'm just staying away from that car.
Yeah. Scary.
I feel like he's that guy.
He's the guy. He's the guy who causes accidents.
He's the guy who thinks he's in a video game, or I don't know like what his sense of money finances are, or like the repercussions. Like it doesn't sound like he's killing anyone, but the fact that he's totaled 2 cars.
He hasn't killed anyone yet.
Yeah.
Give him time.
This is a no-brainer, anonymous. Sorry. Not sorry. Like, congratulations, first of all, on your Tesla and for buying yourself a car. Enjoy it. It's not your responsibility to share it with your boyfriend.
And also, you want to end this relationship real fast? Let him borrow the car and watch what happens if he gets into so much as the slightest fender bender. The fight you will have will be relationship ending. And you'll never get over it. You'll be like, remember that time that I said I didn't want you to borrow a car? I didn't want you to borrow a car. You borrowed the car. You got in an accident. How could you live through that? How could that relationship survive that?
I'm going to be honest. I'm judging him for putting pressure on her.
I am also.
Yeah,
he is a dick.
I can't believe he's like, let me drive your new Tesla.
Could you imagine? I can't even think of an analogy. It's so absurd.
I imagine, because she says, I've been trying to be empathetic to his issues, like his car troubles. I imagine that he comes home and he's like, this happened to me. That thing came out of nowhere. That guy was, blah, blah, blah. That cinder block, I didn't see it. But I'm sure that he has his reasons. He probably thinks that he's not doing anything wrong. And look, maybe, like we said, maybe he's just really unlucky. It's just not a great look. And I think there's nothing wrong with making someone prove themselves.
I mean, imagine if like you had a friend who was like, no, they called him Old Red Wine Lucy because every time she went out, she'd spill red wine on her dress every night.
Yeah.
There's literally every picture at the end of the night is Lucy covered in red wine.
Red wine.
Yeah, and then Lucy comes to you. She's like, Charlene, I just love this dress, and we're the same size.
Yeah,
is it okay?
That cream dress.
Yeah,
that silk cream dress.
That blinding white dress that you have that's so expensive and beautiful. I have this bachelorette party. It's going to go to like 7 a.m. Oh, it's going to be great, but I want to look good in those pictures. Can I borrow your dress?
Red Wine Lucy.
Old Red Wine Lucy.
Okay, I mean, you have a point.
And I agree with you. He's a dick.
Well, I honestly, Duke, I'm judging him for putting her in that position where she's writing into a podcast being like, I feel icky asking him to prove to me that he's a good driver. Why is he asking her in the first place to drive her new Tesla? Like, he should be have some awareness of the fact that maybe she doesn't want to do that. She said she saved up a ton. She saved up so long to buy this car, her first car. Like, it's honestly, it's like a cartoon. This feels like a parody.
It's almost like he's playing like a prank on her.
Yeah, she's being punked.
Yeah. Put it this way. If Red Wine Lucy came up to you and asked this favor, what would your immediate emotion be? Like first you'd be like,
that's a good point, actually. I think it would be disbelief that she was asking me.
You would judge her for asking you.
Yes.
You'd be like, you monster.
It shows such a lack of awareness of her own actions, her own history.
Right.
Her own habits.
Right.
That she would ask me. I agree. That's a good point.
Yeah. Do you know after I've spoken about this, I got into a bad car accident when I was 19.
Yeah.
You know, after that car accident, I didn't ask to borrow someone's car for like 20 years because I knew that they might know about my accident or they may have heard about it from someone else or they might be a close friend that definitely knows. And I was like, I'm not going to go there because it's so disrespectful for me to put you in a position to be like, well, you're a good friend.
Yeah.
And you are asking a favor that a lot of people ask.
Yeah.
But you also got into that horrible accident.
Yeah. And by the way, that's an accident where you almost died.
Yeah.
You should have died, frankly. You were avoiding an opossum.
We've discovered that it's both.
Yeah.
It's either an
it's
opossum
both possum
or
and
possum.
a possum.
Yeah.
But you were avoiding that and then you hit a tree and it was a horrible accident. It was so bad that you were like, I can't.
Yeah. I couldn't do that to somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't even want to bring it up. I don't even want to, if someone starts talking about a conversation about some other person borrowing a car, I don't even want to be near it.
Oh my God, you know what we're getting to the root of this? Shame.
She has no shame.
Oh,
sorry. I was thinking of Lucy. I thought we were talking about her. But he also has no shame.
Yeah, he doesn't have shame around it because he doesn't think it's his fault. I bet you he doesn't think it's his fault.
Yeah, I think that this question might be a red herring for some other issue with this guy. This guy has an issue, and it has to do with this. This is a microcosm of some issue. But the fact that he knows how much this means to you, and you touched on this very well. This is your dream. This is your baby. This is your first baby.
Yeah.
And he knows how much it means to you. And he knows that he is Red Wine Lucy. He knows it as well as everybody else.
Yeah.
And he still is asking you, the person he supposedly cares the most about in the world, he's asking you to borrow the thing that you treasure, this thing you've worked so hard for. Something's wrong there.
Yeah.
And I think you should think about that rather than this logistical question, which is a hard no.
Yeah.
Just
hard
no exception.
Yeah.
There's something else here. I don't think this is the Dear Shandy question.
Yeah.
This is an obvious, and you could ask your neighbor this. They'd tell you, they're like, what are you, crazy? Don't give him the car.
Yeah.
The Dear Shandy question is, why is my boyfriend like this? And we need more information, obviously, to answer that. But I want you to think about that.
There's a lack of shame.
Yeah.
A lack
I agree.
of
It's
shame.
rooted in a lack of shame.
Yeah. Okay, Andy, back to our favorites of 2023. Which are your favorite socks?
This was a struggle. A lot of very talented socks in the running.
Yes.
But only one can win.
Okay. Oh,
Number 2 pencil.
I love those. Those are my favorite of the year.
Oh, wow. So we share it.
I think you're pretending that I didn't help you pick this.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that. I'm a grown man. I could pick my own favorite sock. For busy people on the run who still want eating to be fun, Factor is the one. Factor and you're done.
I like that vaguely classical jingle you just did. Factor is good for people on the run and who still want eating to be fun.
Yeah.
So we are those people. I actually find it kind of annoying when people are like, oh, I'm so busy. But we really have been those people these last few weeks. It's that time of year. And there is nothing better than going to the fridge and you're like on a time crunch. You're like, I have 45 minutes to have lunch. I don't have time to cook, even to order in. That, first of all, adds up over time.
45 minutes? Wow, you're taking some leisurely ass lunches.
But when you open the fridge and you see Factor sitting there, you're like, oh, because you know that you will eat well. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be healthy and well balanced. And all you have to do is heat it up. It's already cooked, but it's never frozen. So it doesn't have that, that flavor that sometimes frozen food has. It does not have that. It
feels and tastes and smells like it was made today.
Yes. And like it was made in a restaurant. It has that restaurant texture, taste, flavor, all the things.
You know what it has in it? It has some love.
It does. You can tell that the chefs making Factor meals are like, I take my cooking seriously. There's love put into it. Some of the dishes have chutney, for God's sake.
Chutney. We need more chutney in our lives.
Yes. Whenever there's a chutney, I'm like, ooh, okay. And there's over 35 different options to choose from every week. And so let's say you need more protein. You're trying to get more protein in your diet. Let's say you are vegan. Let's say you are keto. Let's say you just want more wholesome, healthy options. They have that too. They really have something for everyone. So even when you're rushed, you're not making poor decisions.
And you can feel good knowing that you're making a sustainable choice.
Yes, they offset 100% of their delivery emissions.
And source 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices.
So head to factormeals.com/Shandy50, that's Shandy50, and use code Shandy50 to get 50% off.
That's code Shandy50 at factormeals.com/Shandy50 for 50% off. So Charlene, the year has come to an end, and it is another year where Squarespace is the one and only service that we will use to build or maintain a website.
Yes, and I cannot picture that changing anytime soon. And truly, Squarespace has been in our relationship since I think we started dating. It's been close to a decade. And I remember early in our dating days, we saw an ad for Squarespace on the subway. That's when I first discovered it. And that's when I moved my singing website over to Squarespace, and countless websites we've built on Squarespace since then, including my blog, which sort of spawned this podcast, honestly, our wedding website, dearshandy.com. Squarespace is truly like, it's a member of the family at this point.
Yeah. And I feel good thinking about the people, the Shandies that have signed up for Squarespace. I feel good about people having Squarespace
in their life. Yes, because with Squarespace, you can build a gorgeous website with little to no coding experience. If you want to be involved in your web design experience, or you can't afford to hire a designer, Squarespace is truly the way to get that look without shelling out the big designer bucks.
And I'll tell you, to your customers and your friends, it'll look like you spent a lot of money.
Oh, it has that sheen, the sheen of a pro website, because Squarespace has amazing templates, and you can even build your own template now. That's a new feature. But basically, you can choose a template based on your needs, what your website purpose is, and then you plug and play your information, your graphics, your photography, and then the features are endless. Whether you need galleries or a mailing list or a blog, or you want to sell product, you want to do e-commerce, you can even have payment plans. They have something for everyone.
So go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Again, that's squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All right, next question. Favorite finds, beauty finds of 2023. This is obviously for me, unless Andy, you have any beauty finds you want to contribute.
I had an excellent eczema cream this year.
Okay, for me, I have a couple. SkinCeuticals Physical Fusion UV Defense Sunscreen. It's super sheer. Doesn't really have, it looks like it has color, but it doesn't really. It just mostly blurs and smooths, and you can walk out and not wear any makeup, and your skin just looks like yours, but a little bit better. I love that. I had been looking for this product, this kind of product, for years, and this was my winner, and I have repurchased it a couple of times, so I think that says it all. Next up is Etude's Fixing Tint. This is a lip stain. You guys have seen me wear my 2 shades countless times on this podcast because I find if I wear nothing at all, like on camera, I look a little washed out, and these look really natural. The Midnight Mauve and the Rose Lilac. I would repurchase both of these, but they are lasting forever. Pat McGrath's Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. This is great if you get creasing under your eyes and you just pat it on. It goes on clear. And finally, one last one. It's Skims Fits Everybody t-shirt and strapless bras. Okay, like Skims obviously is one of our sponsors, but truly their Fits Everybody t-shirt bra, which is my new favorite, like everyday bra. The fabric, it's got this kind of like bouncy, lightweight texture to it. And it just, I forget that I'm wearing it, which for an underwire bra is massive. And the Fits Everybody strapless. My other strapless bras, which I still have and wear, they tend to be too like bulky. Like they give too much like in the bosom area.
Yeah,
which
too much bosom bulk.
Sometimes when you're wearing something strapless, you just want support and like definition. You don't want it to be like, and look at my boobs. And their Fits Everybody strapless bra is perfect for that. Okay, moving on. Favorite city visited in 2023, Andy?
Seattle.
Yeah, even though we had been to Seattle a couple of times, this trip to Seattle, it really was about the time of year that we were going. And to go September, October, oh man, we fell in love.
This was a classic going again for the first time.
Yes, yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Lots of spiders too. In a good way.
Okay, so next up in our best of Q&A questions is from episode 214. This was question 2. My friend group imploded over pickleball. Help. So what I really loved about this one, and I think you too, am I speaking for both of us?
Oh yeah, I love this one.
The thing that I love most about this one is that it touched on the juicy social dynamics, platonic social dynamics. You know, there's always a different version of each story depending on who you talk to. And I just felt like this got to the nitty gritty of human interaction.
And you know what's so interesting about humans is when they get involved in games, like games that they're into.
Yeah.
You know, not like some game where they're like half playing.
Yeah.
But games they're into, their personalities come out. It's so transparent. Like all you have to do is watch a pickleball game with 4 people.
Yeah.
And you're like, that person's this person's that. You just know who they are.
Totally. All right, let's roll the clip. All right, this next question is from Excommunicado.
Oh.
You want to just call them X?
Okay.
Dear Shandy, love the show. I love it when they call it a show. The novelty still hasn't worn off for me.
Love that.
Your relationship and banter are a consistent inspiration. Thank you. Thanks. I have always wanted to write in, but I have so many problems. It's been hard to choose just one. If this is chosen, I'd like to do a shout out to my fellow Shandy PW, who is my personal Shandy, doling out advice that she thinks you two might give. Love you, PW. Oh, how sweet.
Wow.
Hi, PW.
I feel competition.
Recently, a group of my friends have imploded, and I'm wondering whether I should slow-mo run away or if I should try to pull some people from the wreckage. There are 4 other characters in this story, 3 girls and 1 boy. One is called Ghost, 32 years old, female. Meanie, 44 years old, female. Chill, the boy, 46 years old. And Innocent Bystander, IB, 40 years old.
I'm already lost.
Okay, so X is the one writing the email. Ghost, Meanie.
32 male.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to know their ages,
It's
but
important.
Ghost, Meanie, and Innocent Bystander are female, and Chill is the male who is 46.
And he's 46.
Yes. X is 39 years old. I am 39 years old. I've known Ghost for 6 years, Chill for 5 years, and I met Meanie and IB last year. I met each of these friends individually, taught them to play pickleball, introduced them to each other, and created a group chat. For about a year, things were going really well, and we would play together a few times a week. I don't get too caught up on the names because I think that's going to lead you. I don't think you need to focus on
Meanie and Chill are the people that she started with playing pickleball with?
all of them.
Right, but Meanie and Chill Meanie and Chill were the ones she knew the least amount of time.
I met Meanie and IB, Innocent Bystander, last year, she said.
Okay, got it.
So Ghost and Chill, she's known for 5 and 6 years.
And Meanie and IB are girls, women.
Yes.
Okay.
For about a year, things were going really well, and we would play together a few times a week. The girls even started hanging out without me and sometimes invited my good friend Chill. Again, sometimes without inviting me, which bothered me at first. It reminded me of Charlene's troubles introducing friends to each other. But I figured I would get over it because I was genuinely happy they were getting along so well. A month ago, Ghost, Meanie, and Chill and I are playing pickleball, and I frustratedly explained to Ghost and Meanie that they need to cover their sections of the court.
Classic pickleball dispute.
After the game, Ghost yells, "Don't play with me anymore," and storms off. So remember,
Wow.
Ghost, she's known for 6 years.
It's heated.
Then I talked to a pissed off Meanie and eventually convinced her that it was meant as constructive feedback. But I'm a litigator, so she could have just been tired of arguing. Last week, I texted Ghost and Meanie asking if we were okay. Meanie said, speaking for herself, she was okay. I haven't heard from Ghost since. My question is, what do I do now? Ghost ignores me in the group chat, so I assume she's just throwing our 6-year relationship away. Chill doesn't want to get into the drama, and he has no idea why Ghost is mad. I told Chill that I would not hold it against him if he kept playing with Ghost, but I'm actually really hurt. I could not remain friends with someone who treated one of my friends the way Ghost treated me. Chill and I have reliably hung out at least twice a month for 5 years. IB, innocent bystander, wasn't there. In retrospect, Chill is the innocent bystander, but I chose what I chose.
This shows she did one draft. That's it. There's no rewrite.
Meanie is mean, so she's not a big loss.
Nice.
These are my only single friends in my area, so it stings to start anew, but maybe these relationships have run their course anyway. What should I do? Supplementary information. Ghost, Meanie, and IB are terrible pickleball players. Chill is athletic and low-key obsessed with pickleball. He has no trouble meeting other people on the courts. So it's not as if Chill has to play with these girls or else he has no one to play with. Also, everyone in this group is single and no one has dated anyone else in the group or has made any moves on anyone else. Your thoughts would be appreciated. Signed, Excommunicado. I have an instant reaction to this one, and I'm kind of curious to see what you say before I say what I say. Or are you confused by all the names and you want me to go first?
It's a little confusing. I think I get it, but I immediately understand why she's upset about the dynamic.
Yes.
That makes total sense.
That makes more
to me.
sense to me than actually what she's writing in about.
Right. The thing that she's writing in about, my instinct was, and this is nothing against Excommunicado.
Yeah.
I just think there's something else going on there in that relationship. I don't believe one pickleball altercation. I feel like that friendship might have ended for another reason.
Or maybe it was the straw.
It was the straw.
Yeah.
I don't think that she's just like, no one talks to me like that on the pickleball court. I'm done. She's dead to me.
Yeah.
That's craziness.
But I also think that, I guess, okay, when I read this the first time and the second time, because this is the second time I'm reading this, I wonder if X is a little abrasive. And even the way she handled telling Meanie that she was just giving constructive feedback, you know, it can be constructive feedback, but it's really all about the execution and the delivery. And if that comes across as overly aggressive or like you're shouting or talking down to, you're patronizing, condescending, a million different tones that could be taken poorly. I wonder if Ghost wants more of an olive branch than just a group like, hey, are we good text? And I am a sensitive person. I'm a sensitive friend. And I think that I'm both that way with receiving and giving in my friendships. So I can't help but that's what stands out to me is I don't know if I'm fully getting the impression that X to Ghost was like, I hope you know I didn't mean, I was just in the moment. I was really emotional. Like I was in, we were playing pickleball. I was all like revved up and I hope it didn't sound personal or like I was talking down to you, or is there something else going on? Like it seems like she's a little quick to let this. She's accusing Ghost of throwing away their 6-year friendship. But to me, she seems kind of willing to throw away the 6-year friendship.
I agree. It kind of takes two to tango. I think there's some pride involved here.
Yes.
I don't think she wants to go and really like give any sort of mea culpa in any way, even if it's not appropriate, like just to sort of mend fences.
Yes.
That's what you mend, right? I was about to say mend bridges. You definitely don't mend. You could mend a bridge.
Yeah,
but
burning bridges and mending.
burning bridge and mending fences.
Is that what it is?
Although, to be honest,
Those are not equal.
No one mends fences anymore. No one does. Fences are not a thing that get mended anymore.
Well, and I would think burning a bridge is a way more permanent and that has
burning a bridge is always going to. Bridges are always going to be around, and burning them is always going to be really bad.
Yeah,
and end the possibility of anyone getting across that bridge again.
Okay, so do you see eye to eye with me on
what
this?
I'm saying is, I think that she is a little too proud to mend the fence.
Yeah, she's like, why are you taking this so personally? You're going to throw away our friendship? You're not just okay with this?
Yeah.
And I'm getting a personality vibe here, which she talked about talking to a pissed off meanie, eventually convincing her that it was meant as constructive feedback, but, quote, I'm a litigator, so she could have just been tired of arguing. That really stands out to me.
What I get the feeling that meanie actually isn't that mean.
Meanie sounds a little more chill.
You know what I actually think? I'm gonna switch the names around. I think Meanie might be chill.
Oh wait, Meanie should be named Chill.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think excommunicado, I think he might be Meanie.
It's just supposed to be a light, fun activity that they're doing together. And she says that they're all terrible players. It's like, you don't need to yell at them when they didn't cover their sections properly.
Yeah.
And then from there, explain that it was meant as constructive feedback. And then when they don't get over it in the timeline that you think is appropriate, then you're like, okay, well, this 6-year friendship is over. Are they throwing it away? It just seems very reactive and too quick to let it all go.
I agree with you. And I think unless there was a lot of money on this game, which based on this story, I don't think there was.
I don't think so either.
There's no reason in pickleball to get that heated. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You either have to be a professional level pickleball player, and this is like your life. Uh-huh. And even when you're playing a game, like a fun game on a Sunday, you're still taking it like this is life. Mm-hmm. Or there's $100,000 on the game. Either of those don't exist. You can't be yelling at people on the pickleball court, especially about something as simple as just not playing like the way you'd like them to play. Mm-hmm. Maybe if someone got angry and they smacked you in the head with their pickleball paddle, that's a good reason to yell at someone on the pickleball court.
Yes.
But I think she was too abrasive. I think you're right.
That's
you touched on the right thing.
That's what stands out to me, especially how it almost seems like she litigated Meanie into agreeing, okay, yeah, it was just constructive feedback. Let's just stop talking about it. We're fine. It sounds like Meanie is not very confrontational, and Ghost probably isn't either, except that she has been pushed over the edge. This was the straw. And I agree with your initial point, which is that this has been building for way longer than X realizes. Yeah. And this was the straw, and Ghost is like, I don't need this shit.
I think this is a wake-up call. I think, and I hate to say this, I hate to go against our Shandies. It's out of love.
No, but I do this with care, really.
I think this is an am I the asshole question.
100%.
And excommunicado, you're the asshole.
I mean, that's the vibe I'm getting as well. And we have to also touch on that one layer deeper, which is she has introduced all these friends.
Yeah.
She was holding it a little against Chill that he would still continue to see these friends that she had introduced them to. And trust me, X, when you talked about, the introducing of friends, them hanging out without you and you feeling left out, I relate to that more than you know. But, or maybe not more than you know, because you've heard me talk about it a lot on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I feel that Chill is kind of he's like, I'm not involved in this.
Yeah.
An innocent bystander. Also, she's almost upset at them for not being upset with the friends that she got angry at for not covering the pickleball courts, and then continuing to hang out with them and not choosing her side. It's like, maybe you're the common denominator.
Or maybe this is her kind of passive, I guess it's not passive aggressive, it's aggressive way of expressing her distaste with the fact that they're kind of a friend group, sometimes outside of her, and she's the reason why they're friends.
In which case, I kind of wish she would just bring it up.
Yeah, I think there needs to be.
And that's so easy for me to say of all people.
It's so hard to swallow your pride and deal with this. But I honestly think there's a lot more going on here than this pickleball argument. No. And I think the ghosting is not just her being a dick and ghosting you. I think there needs to be a real discussion here about what's going on. And I'm going to use 2 more real tropes here.
Okay.
Heavy is the crown of the person who introduces a lot of friends together.
Yeah.
That's a tough job. Mm-hmm. You have to sometimes deal with the fact that they're going to go rogue on you. And that's sort of a beautiful thing in a way. It's almost like having children. Like, you don't expect your children to be like, I'm staying with you forever. I'm going to love you every day for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes just go off and do their own thing, and you have to watch them from afar and be like, oh, isn't that beautiful? Look at my children living their life.
All my children.
All of them playing pickleball without me while I sit at home and cry.
Okay, what's the other trope?
The other trope is that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think they're both, it's the same point I'm making. I think sometimes the good intention of bringing all these friends together and having them play pickleball is leading her to hell. And that hell is that she's now resentful of this situation. And it manifested itself in this pickleball explosion. And now she's blaming the ghoster, or ghost, I guess her name is Ghost, so I can call her that. She's blaming her. She's the problem.
Yeah.
But the problem is this, and this needs to be discussed. And I honestly think I'm going to call her excommunicado, but I think she might be meaning, or asshole. I'm not sure. It's your responsibility to have a summit to discuss this, unfortunately. And I know how much that kind of sucks, but it's your responsibility. I really think for the betterment of this whole friend group and for yourself, make this a conversation in person and lay down your arms.
Yeah. All right.
You think we lost to Shandy?
I hope not. I always wanted to write in, but I have so many problems. It's been hard to choose just one. That
maybe
hits different now.
Maybe, yeah, I agree. In retrospect,
not everyone's that confrontational. I gotta say, if a friend yelled at me for not covering my pickleball court properly, even if it's meant as constructive criticism, like, we're just having fun.
I gotta be honest with you. Like, I think my pickleball skills are probably on the same level as them.
Okay.
Like my level of pickle. I have a couple of friends who sometimes invite me to play pickleball.
Okay.
And if ever I went to that pickleball event and I was yelled at that I was in the wrong part of the court, like really yelled at, I would not feel good about that. I might avoid contact with that person. Not necessarily a full ghost, but I'd be like, yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break from that. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I went to go play pickleball.
Yeah.
That's not the place I expect to get harangued at.
Yeah. And then have it insinuated that I'm overreacting when that person never formally apologized and just wanted to dig a little deeper than just saying, oh, it was constructive feedback.
You stole my boyfriend? I'm going to yell at you.
Yeah.
You were in the wrong place in the pickleball court? No, you can't do that. First rule of pickleball, don't yell at people on the pickleball court.
Okay, X, good luck. Sorry. I don't know what to say. Sorry about that.
Quite a pickle.
Yeah, it is. Good.
Waiting for that.
Okay, back to our favorites of 2023, Andy. Favorite restaurant. This was hard.
This is really tough.
Yeah. We take food very seriously, not to sound obnoxious about it. I'll put it this way. When we go out for dinner on a Saturday night, and I've been looking forward to it, and when we go out and have a meal and it's not up to snuff, it ruins my night.
Yeah, we did that the other night.
Yes.
We were having a great day.
Yep.
And we were really excited.
Yeah.
And afterwards we were both grumpy.
We were so grumpy. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about our favorites.
Yes.
And we have a couple of categories for this because one is fancy. One is
just regular.
International. Like it doesn't have to be in New York. And then another one is Seattle because we did spend so long there.
So fancy. Essential by Christoph.
Yes. Essentials.
Essential. I never remember the name of this restaurant.
Kind of a weird name.
They really failed on the name.
Yeah.
The name is so bad that it's almost like they know how good they are that they're going to make a name. They're like, it doesn't matter how bad the name is. You're still going to come back.
And I think actually since we've gone, they've gotten a Michelin star. So we know what we're talking
just made
about.
it.
For less fancy, this place opened near us recently. It's not a hole in the wall. It's also nice, but it's not Michelin star nice.
Yeah.
But Parla, this Italian place.
So good. Now we're never going to be able to get a table there.
Okay. Let's pretend we didn't say that.
Forget that.
Okay. And for Seattle,
Paju, Korean. Just mind-blowing.
I think Paju was the most memorable meal we had in Seattle.
Incredible.
Yeah. And for outside of the city, the question really was, the Shandy asked international, but we didn't do a ton of international travel this year. And this restaurant can kind of count because it's outside of New York City.
Upstate New York.
It is
it's
upstate
quite
New
international.
York. Yeah, that trip upstate really made a big impression of us. We got to spend time with the fawn and eat at Wildflower Farms restaurant. We didn't stay there because it's way too fancy.
Way too fancy.
Yeah, but we ate there and Oh my goodness. It was
Unbelievable.
amazing.
And it wasn't just the food. It was the vibe there, the ambiance. It had that like very high-end cult kind of feeling. But the good kind of cults, like where it's like no one's dying, no one's getting screwed.
The kind of cult you wouldn't mind being a part of.
Yeah, you got to pay a lot. You got to pay like $20,000 a year to be part of this cult.
Yeah, no, it was really spectacular.
Yeah, once in a while they sacrifice a human, but 99% of the time they're just eating great food and enjoying nature.
Okay, next question. Favorite way we grew and became better people in 2023? Oof, that's tough.
I think there's one that sort of encompasses a lot of things we're working on.
Okay.
But I think we got better at not being such people pleasers.
Yeah, this is always a work in progress, but I feel myself getting better at it. It's hard.
It's so hard.
So hard.
So
I think that
hard.
this is harder for me than it is for you too. I think you've gotten
No,
better.
I'm harder. It's harder for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you want to compete about who's has a harder time with people pleasing?
It is a notoriously feminine thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's very
That's
sexist.
my trump
I'm
card.
offended by that. I just think that in addition to, it's not just about pleasing people. It's also about making people comfortable in situations.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I just avoid conflict or saying what I actually feel because I just want to keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
And I've been trying my best to do that. I've been trying with my expression and my words to just actually be honest, even when honesty is not that comfortable a situation.
Yeah, I think I've been doing the same, like socially. I'm conflict averse, but I think I've been a lot better this past year about being direct when something bothers me and saying it in the moment and letting that be okay. Like I don't need to apologize for that.
Yeah.
As long as I express it in a respectful manner. I feel like in the past I've been too apologetic for my own reactions and feelings about things.
Absolutely. And I will say you have won this year. You're better. You've done better than me. I've seen great strides with you, and you're Canadian too. So you have an immediate handicap.
Okay. Can I say one about you?
Oh, okay.
I think that with recording, because, we do these in our home. I think sometimes people forget. Like when people comment on your white t-shirt, like annoyed that you don't dress up for them.
What are you talking about? It's my best white t-shirt.
We record in our apartment most of the time, or, when we're on the road. We record in our home at that moment. And I think it's easy to bring in whatever else you've been going through that day, or if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or you are not in a great mood, or you just got bad news. There's a million reasons why you might not be in the mood to record. And historically, this has been one of our challenges because we tend to record on weekdays and you have a job, a career that takes up a lot of your time. And I have noticed amazing improvements with you in your ability to put on your podcast hat when it's time to record and leave the other stuff at the door, which is so much harder to do than it sounds.
It's very hard, but thank you for noticing. I've been doing some breathing exercises.
Andy has a few rituals he does before recording now. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
All right. Favorite outfit of 2023. I have two favorites, and these are from the podcast only because I actually don't take photos of my outfits in real life. Like when I go out at night, I'm not like taking a photo of my look. Like I totally forget what I wore a week later. But on the podcast, I have two favorites. Episode 214, the leather overall look. I was very excited about those. I got those at such a good price. They were so on sale. I was very into them. Also 224, the swirl jeans and a crisscross white tank with my Princess Leia hair.
Oh, very nice.
I was into
remember
that look.
Yeah.
Okay, so Andy, that brings us to our next best of Q&A question. This is from episode 206. Question 7, the ethics of tickling.
Tickling. I mean, I think tickling is a very important topic. It really is something that's been going on for probably thousands of years.
Something that's been going on.
Yeah. I mean, there was a first tickle that wasn't accidental.
Oh.
When do you think the first tickle was? Think it was like caveman times, or do you think it was like more like, like Roman Empire? Someone got tickled and it was the first, think about that, the first person to ever intentionally tickle someone.
This Q&A question was fascinating to me because it touched on the type of person who does get off on tickling someone, which apparently it can be kind of a fetish, I've learned since.
Yeah.
Like an actual fetish.
Yeah. I mean, that's weird, but I'm sure there's weirder fetishes.
So yeah, ethics of tickling. We'll roll the clip. All right, this next question is from Not Tickled. Dear Shandy, I love your podcast. Came here for the recaps and stayed for your wonderful relationship and relationship advice.
Oh, that's
Thank
what we
you.
like.
Your perspective really helped demystify dating for a late bloomer like myself, and I now have a boyfriend who I very much love and would like to complain about to you.
Just how we want it.
The problem, tickling. A few months in, he found out that I was rather susceptible to tickles.
I know where this is going.
And so he would trick me into warm cuddles only to incapacitate me against his attacks. This made cuddling highly stressful for me until we made an agreement that he can only tickle me on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, giving me comfort on some days and allowing for mischief on others.
This is the weirdest relationship I've ever heard of in my life.
When we made this deal, I figured his desire to tickle would only occasionally arise, and he may even eventually start forgetting to do so. However, several months later, I am in a sort of hell I did not imagine. Like clockwork, he never misses a day, and I'm being tickled much more than I bargained for. Oh my God.
Why did she set up 3 days of tickling?
This came to a head last Saturday when he tickled me 4 times. A monster, she wrote. I don't think I can go on at this rate. I've expressed to him that while I like the playfulness and thrilling stakes of tickle fights, tickling is deeply uncomfortable. He doesn't get this because he himself isn't ticklish, which also means I can't fight back. But he sees that this has made me upset, so now we are revising the terms of our tickle contract. We'd love to have Shandy weigh in. What do you think are reasonable terms? What are your views on the ethics of tickling? Sincerely not tickled. P.S. Our ages are 5 and 7. Just kidding. I'm 27 and he's 31. He's 31.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to assume this isn't a joke question.
Oh, I think it's dead serious,
Okay,
and
okay.
I kind of know what she means. I think if you don't lay down the law, people think this is more fun than it is.
No. There's nothing fun about being tickled.
No, it's hell.
Not that much different than if on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, he just kicked her in the shins.
Oh, the kicking of the shins. Is there anything worse?
Well, tickling is a little worse.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable.
It's not funny. You laugh because it's a weird reaction.
Yeah,
you
and it feels like something, oh, hee tee hee hee. It makes you think of the Pillsbury Doughboy, like, ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. But it's actually very uncomfortable.
It's a form of torture. They literally will tie someone up and tickle the bottom of their feet with a feather to get information out of them. How is that something that's funny? It's not funny.
Do they actually do that?
That tickling is a form of torture. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's the go-to form of torture. I think if you went to a torture dungeon and the guy was like, okay, you're going to be tickled all day, you'd be like, well, it could have been worse. But tickling is not funny. No. As a matter of fact, I put it in the extremely annoying category. When someone insists upon doing a thing that they know you don't like over a wet willy.
Oh.
I had a friend, that friend is pushing it. I had an acquaintance who would insist at least once a month on wet willying me.
Oh.
And I every time he did it, I was like this is not making anything good here.
No.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, I hate it. It's annoying. It makes me like you less.
I mean, that's why he's not a friend.
Oh, yeah.
You demoted, you called him an acquaintance.
That's true. As a matter of fact, I would say the wet willy is what put me over the edge.
Demoted him from friend.
That was it. I was done.
Yeah.
But it's not funny. It's not cool. It's very annoying. And it basically, let's call it what it is. It hurts. It's actually kind of.
I think it's pain.
It's kind of pain.
Yeah.
It's a weird form of pain.
It's so uncomfortable that it starts to be painful. Yeah. I'm sure that people will chime in to say why it is or isn't actual pain.
The only reason I'm hesitating is because I did take the stance in a recap on, I believe, Bachelor in Paradise, that tickling wasn't pain.
Was it tickling?
Yes, it was tickling. Aaron claimed that tickling was pain, and because I was not into Aaron that
Are you
season,
sure it was tickling and not something else?
It was itching.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, cancel that.
Okay. I think that something so uncomfortable can start to feel like pain. Whether or not tickling is actually pain, I don't know, but I think it can be interpreted that way because of how uncomfortable it makes you.
Yeah, and I actually think it may be a fetish of his. Like, he may actually have a tickling
he probably
fetish.
thinks it's cute. And also a crucial detail here is that he's not ticklish. Right now, he has a nuclear weapon and she doesn't have anything. Yeah. So it's not fair. He doesn't understand that it can also be done back to him. You and I are rescued a bit by the fact that we both have ticklish spots.
Yeah.
And therefore...
Well, it's a détente.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to tickle you. I don't want to get tickled.
Yes.
He has no empathy. He has no ability to understand what it's like to be tickled.
Yeah.
He thinks it's funny. But you're like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're laughing. Cute. That means it's good.
Yeah. but you can sometimes laugh out of discomfort.
Absolutely.
I'm very bothered by I know this is a fun question, and I'm not trying to make it more serious than it is. Okay, let's talk about this contract. First of all, it's on you, not tickled, to even allow him 3 days a week where he can tickle you. You're being way too generous. He is not allowed to tickle you, period.
You're enabling him.
Yes.
This is pure enablement.
Yes.
Why are you allowing there to be a contract? The contract should be no tickling ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Not one tickle. Maybe once a year on your birthday, you get a tickle. That's it. One tickle.
No, it's on his birthday.
On his. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Sure. On his birthday, he's allowed to tickle you once when you least expect it.
Yeah.
Give him that
his
thrill.
gift. And that's all he gets. He doesn't get a present. So that's his present.
Yeah. No, seriously. I think, so growing up, my dad has really ticklish feet.
Ooh,
and
too.
in the family, I remember when we were little, when we would discover this, because you're a kid, you're like, ha ha ha. And my dad was always like fun and games unless we tickled his feet. And he was like, no.
Yeah, it's not
He
funny.
laid down the law. It wasn't like the fun and games stopped. You don't do that. It's not fun for daddy if you tickle his feet. Don't do that. And so my whole life, I've been like, if someone's really ticklish, you don't do that. And it's like a boundary. She needs to lay a boundary down.
You know what the angriest I ever get at you is when you tickle my feet.
Which I almost never do.
Even when you do it by accident, I get angry at you.
Yeah.
I take it personally.
Sometimes I try to rub your foot and I purposely go really hard to try to avoid tickling you.
Yeah, but sometimes you screw up. And I'm like, why would she do this to me? She loves me. I think.
Yeah, I actually think your feet are more ticklish than mine.
Definitely. The bottom of my feet, if you wanted to get information out of me, it would be through the feet.
Yeah, it shows I don't want to make this more serious than it is. But it shows a maturity thing. It's like I don't feel like he's been in many relationships just based on the fact that he would take her up on this contract.
It's so
weird.
weird.
He's like, sweet, I get to tickle you 3 days a week. Sweet, I'm going to do it. Like, to me, the contract is something that if they were even to do that, which is a terrible idea to begin with, he would be like, okay. And then, like she said, like he should forget about it. But instead, he's like, yes, I get to tickle her today. It's so mean.
But what is she getting in this contract? This is a one-way contract.
Yeah, it's so true.
Like if you want to keep the contract in place, you should at least have some demands.
Mm-hmm. Like he can tickle you that day, but he also has to cook you all the meals that day.
Exactly. Very good. You should be the attorney on this contract.
Okay, so that's the Shandy weigh-in. I mean, is there anything else you want to contribute to this?
No, this is obvious. In the end, this is just wasted energy that could be put somewhere else, more productive. She's exhausted from getting tickled and upset, and he's spending all this time tickling. Anyway, I'm done.
Okay, not tickled. It's clear how we feel about this. Lay down the law. It's a boundary. It's a boundary.
Or find something he really doesn't like and just do it to him and be like, how do you like that? How do you like that?
Yeah, she needs her own weapon.
Yeah.
It's uneven right now. It's not fair.
She's
ridiculous. Helpless. She's just a sitting duck. And she thinks that sometimes they're going to just cuddle and then he tickles her. That's horrible.
This is not a contract. This is torture.
Okay, not tickled. Good luck. All right, Andy, what is your favorite green thumb tip of the year?
I got one. I got one.
You're ready for this one?
I am ready. I was thinking about this all morning.
Oh.
No, I was not all morning, but a little chunk. Anyway, when I was making eggs, I was thinking about it. Take an eggshell. After you make eggs, eat the eggs. Don't just waste the eggs. Take the eggshell, put it in the oven at like 220 for like 15 minutes to sterilize it and dry it. Put it in a coffee bean grinder, grind it up into basically a dust or a powder, store that powder away, and sprinkle it in your plants once a month. And I am telling you, it works wonders. Calcium is as important for plants as it is for humans. It builds their bones. I mean, they don't have bones, but it builds their cell walls. It's amazing. Huge difference. If you got plants in the house that they're looking a little sickly or just not happy, eggshells.
Okay.
Almost pure calcium.
Oh, how nice.
Calcium carbonate.
Andy, that's such a feel-good tip.
Yeah.
Also making use of waste.
Yes. And while we're on the topic, there is a runner-up. I'm very excited about plants, as you can see. But you take a banana peel, you put it in a big jug of water, and you let it sit for like 5, 6, 7 hours, like a bunch of times, as long as you want.
Overnight.
Yeah, overnight. And then you use that water to water your plants, and it's filled with potassium and all sorts of stuff that plants love. And, do that once every couple of weeks. Another big boost for growth.
Oh, great, Andy.
Yeah, good tips.
Okay, favorite video game of 2023. This one's obviously for me. And I think the answer is obvious. It should go without saying, but Tears of the Kingdom, I got it the day it came out. And I am still enjoying it.
She likes this game.
Favorite ad jingle of 2023.
So, runners up.
Uh-huh.
Should I just sing runners
just
up?
Go.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Start. Give me the pitch so I know how to harmonize it.
Hello Fresh. Hello Fresh. He's gonna make your day bright. Hello Fresh. Don't put up a fight. Okay, very nice.
To be honest, we could not completely remember whether this was HelloFresh or AG1. Because it also works with AG1.
It totally works. And it's interchangeable. I want to do it with AG1. AG1. He's gonna make your day bright. AG1. Don't put up a fight. Totally works.
Okay. Next
runner up
is
this is I think this is a solo piece. Unless you want to join in. Do you want to harmonize?
Oh no, I have a harmony.
You got
for this.
it? Okay.
How dare you? Don't exclude me from your jingle.
Sorry. Cozy, cozy, cozy earth. Cozy, cozy, cozy earth. Cozy, cozy, cozy earth. Here's what I want on my body.
My favorite thing about that jingle is we really weren't rolling yet. You were trying to come up with a jingle and then it became a jingle.
And it also, what I like about that jingle is it's right between jingle and song.
Yes. Yeah. And also it really is accurate. Like you really do like cozy earth on your body. I mean, you're wearing it. Yeah.
It's always on my body.
Everyone's been hearing
my
it.
sheets, my pillow.
Okay, finally, our best jingle of 2023.
Squarespace, where a beautiful website is made.
I just love that jingle.
It's a great one.
It's a keeper.
Yeah.
You know what? That is good enough to be an actual jingle.
I think Squarespace should get in contact with us. I'm a little annoyed that they haven't.
Yeah, they're taking it.
What are they waiting for? You know what? They're too good for jingles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're like, that's totally like 2005.
Yeah, how cute. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Take your jingle.
Shove it up your ass.
Yeah. That's not how Squarespace speaks. Hello, hello, hello Fresh comes to your home with a happy smile from your door to your fridge to your mouth. Hello Fresh.
From your door to your fridge to your mouth. Yeah. I like that, Andy. Isn't that funny? We get stuff shipped to our door to put in our mouth.
We put so many things in our mouth.
Well, HelloFresh is a meal delivery kit. I would say the OG meal delivery kit.
The OG.
Yes, because HelloFresh delivers all the ingredients you need, plus the recipes to make delicious, healthy meals at home. You don't have to go to the grocery store to source all the ingredients. They deliver the exact right amount of said ingredients. And honestly, when you get rid of all of that extra prep work of going grocery shopping and deciding what you're going to cook, cooking is actually kind of fun.
Oh, yeah. I look forward to cooking HelloFresh.
Yes.
And I actually feel like I've lost the thing that I used to have, which is when I cooked, I got brownie points. Cooking is fun as long as they do the hard stuff for you.
The prep of being like, okay, I'm going to cook this. That's half the battle, is knowing what you're going to cook and then trying to make sure you have all those ingredients. And there's a lot of stress in that too. And actually, because neither of us are really natural, like, oh, I'm going to whip this up. I'm going to throw this together. It's solved a lot of contention in our relationship, truthfully.
And really, we have to emphasize the cost because you save a lot of money with HelloFresh. You are buying the exact right amount.
Yes.
You don't have too much. You don't have to buy a giant bushel of something.
Bushel.
So go to HelloFresh.com/ShandyFree and use code ShandyFree for free breakfast for life.
That's one breakfast item per box while subscription is active. Again, that's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/ShandyFree with code ShandyFree.
You know what I like, Charlene?
What, Andy?
Are you interested?
I'm waiting with bated breath. What do you like?
I like a product that gives me good habits.
Yes. Because so many products don't. They really don't.
No. And I'm showcasing our favorite product from our longtime sponsor, Care of.
Yes.
Protein powder. Delicious chocolate protein powder.
So chocolatey. It actually is the best chocolate protein powder I've ever tasted. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they have that flavor where you're like, ooh, I don't really want to eat this.
Yeah, I've done protein powders in the past, very rarely, but this got me really into it. And they've tasted kind of almost like I feel like I'm drinking medicine.
Yes.
Like it's like this is the medicine for the gym. You drink it before and you drink it after, and you just got to get it down.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I'll have this
I kind of want it
for a snack.
Yeah, I kind of want it all the time.
Yeah.
Care of is a subscription service that delivers personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders directly to your door. So you never have to leave the house, and you can adjust your plan accordingly. Like, let's say you were like, oh, I ordered too much protein. Maybe I didn't order enough. Maybe I need more vitamins. Maybe I need more of this other thing. You can constantly adjust it, and then you don't have to think about it. You can just take your foot off the gas. It's just going to arrive.
And they kind of gamify it a little bit.
Yes.
It's easy. You just do a short online quiz. You talk
It's
about
a fun quiz,
it's
too.
Fun. It's a fun quiz.
You know, some of those quizzes are work. I liked Care of
Yeah,
quiz.
I
I was like a little sad when it was over.
Yeah, you talk about your lifestyle and your health goals.
And then they have doctor-backed recommendations based on what you fill out. Okay, actually, this past week, I did a workout where I didn't forget. I ran out of time. I normally make a delicious protein smoothie with that chocolate protein powder, with half of a frozen banana, some ice cubes, some almond milk, and a tiny bit of peanut butter. And it's delicious. But one morning this week, I ran out of time and I ran out the door. And let me tell you, that workout was brutal. I felt the difference.
Wow. Yeah. I eat this before and after my workouts now.
Ooh.
And I can't go without it. I need my Care of.
So right now, our listeners, the Shandies, can get 50% off your first Care of order by going to takecareof.com and entering promo code Shandy50.
Again, that's code Shandy50 at takecareof.com for 50% off your first order.
All right. So next up on our best of 2023 Q&A Qs is episode 245, question 2. My boyfriend wants a private locked room in our shared home.
Absolutely epic.
Yeah, at the time I enjoyed this question, but I don't think I could have predicted how passionate the Shandies would get in their. I mean, this was the most epic in terms of like responses from Shandies.
Yeah.
This had the most involvement.
I will say this. I like to give the benefit of the doubt in this stuff. I like to be open-minded. And I feel like if there was ever a question where I didn't fully put my feet into the shoes of the writer, it was this one.
Oh, so what you're saying is that you've changed your answer?
No. I haven't changed my answer. I've gotten more strongly in the camp that I arrived at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel that way too. And I think looking back, when I watched that one back, I felt pretty strongly about it at the time. But once again, in retrospect, I feel even more strongly. And I think that I was given like wind in my sails by the Shandies and their reactions. Because, you know, sometimes when we're reading these alone in our living room, I'm like, am I covering all my bases? Like, I hope I'm giving, everyone the appropriate benefit of the doubt. Looking back, I think I just feel more strongly than I even was then. And I felt pretty strongly then.
Well, yeah, I think that what this question taught me was sometimes I have to not just get my feet into the question writer's shoes, but get my whole body into their clothing and their skin.
Okay, roll the clip. All right, this next question is from E as in the letter. You both always have such great takes, and I'm usually not one to write in and ask for advice, but this situation of mine seems really up your alley to answer, so here it goes. I'm curious to know
what's our alley.
Yeah, what is our alley?
I want to know it.
My boyfriend and I have been together for over 4 years and have lived together for 3. We've lived in small apartments in the past, but last year we upgraded to a 3-bedroom townhome that, in all honesty, is still not enough room for the both of us and our 2 pets, though we would both agree that we share each of the 3 rooms pretty equally, meaning we both freely have access to each space, even each other's offices. My boyfriend has mentioned several times that if we were to buy or rent a house, he wants to have a room in the house where I am not allowed in. I've always been a bit bothered by this, but thought, hey, if we have a house big enough, sure. Just recently, he was very explicit that when we get said house, he will get a lock for the door and not give me a key so that he knows for certain I will not go in without his permission. We have always organically... Sorry. I was looking forward to seeing your expression, and it was exactly what I expected it to be. I could tell that your interest was piqued by that last sentence.
This is up our alley.
She knows us better than we know ourselves. Yeah. We have always organically shared our possessions, phone passwords, car keys, etc. before, so I never anticipated he would have such a hard rule on having his own space. He is definitely the artist type and can be neurotic about worrying people will interrupt him unannounced when he's concentrating. I've told him that I will respect his boundaries, and he knows knows I've never intentionally disrespected them in the past. I can't seem to get across to him why having a locked door in my own home is super uncomfortable for me, and I'm struggling to put into words why it is so weird to me, and he doesn't seem to be able to see my side. Am I being unreasonable? Should he have a right to a room in a home that we share? Hope I've shared enough background for this scenario to make sense. Smiley face. Thank you. Love you. Sincerely, no one keeps baby out of a corner. E.
Ah, nice. Well, I will say I feel very seen by this question.
Yeah.
Because she's right. But I don't really think I know everything I need to know about him or about their relationship. But
Wait, what do you think's missing? I mean, she did not give ages, which is pretty crazy.
It's up our alley to complain about not having ages. So maybe it was a meta up our alley. This is what I'm going to say. There's two possibilities here because he's not like seeing other girls in that room. It's not like he's like having affairs. So that's out of the question.
Yeah, but it begs the question, what is he so secretive about that he needs a lock? Okay. The lock is what gets me.
Can I?
Sorry. Okay. I clearly have a strong opinion.
I know you have a strong opinion. I don't totally agree with you.
Great. People will love it.
There are two possibilities here. One is very nefarious, although it technically doesn't have anything to do with the relationship. And that being that he's like some kind of a serial killer. Yeah.
That's option number one.
That's option number one. It's the whole serial killer umbrella, which includes doing
illegal
pedophile, like anything really, something you do not want other people involved in for legal reasons.
Yeah.
That's number one. Very, very outside possibility. Okay. Possible.
Sure.
But I don't think that's it. Let's just assume that's not it.
Well, it makes it more likely the fact that he needs a lock on it.
I understand. It is
That's what makes it weird.
It adds up that could be the thing.
Yes.
It could be that he's a deviant criminal. That's number one. And I'm going to say that's a long shot. Okay. Just because the percentage of people in the country who desire a room to themselves and are also serial killers or pedophiles is not a high percentage. I would assume that's a low percentage. Okay. What is it, 5% of people who demand a room to themselves?
You lost me somewhere along the way, but get to the other thing. Yeah, it's either or. Okay. What was the other one?
Yeah, sorry. The other one is that he needs a 100% guaranteed isolated space for himself to create whatever art he's involved in.
Yeah.
And I think that is the odds-on money winner for why he wants this. And I'm surprised he hasn't come right out and just told her that, because that would sort of solve a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but she didn't mention that. She's alluded to it.
Yeah.
Which is enough for me. I think that that's what it is. I think that he is a real, whether he's a good artist or a crappy artist, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. He believes in his art enough that he wants his space that is uninterrupted. There's not a chance. If there's a fire in the house, that door is not getting unlocked. And that's how he needs to create his art. And I respect that. I mean, that's fine. Or he's a serial killer pedophile, which is not fine.
This one's complicated. This one's deceptively difficult. Because my first read, I was like, hey, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's weird.
I think it's the lock that gets me. And look, I'm all about, there's this new trend where people are having separate bedrooms so you can have your own personal space. I like the idea of having separate bedrooms. So I guess for me, it just feels unfair. Like if she also got her own locked private room that he's not allowed in, what is he doing in there that she cannot possibly even, like, it'd be one thing if it's like, oh, don't disturb me while I'm being a creative genius. It's another thing where it's like, there's a lock on here. You're never allowed in. Right. I'm going to be out and you're still not allowed in there. What the hell is he doing in that room or keeping in that room or storing in that room? Or, I just think that it's a little suspicious.
Well, I think that if he were to say, when I'm in there, you don't disturb me.
Yeah.
And when I'm not in there, it's just a room in the house that you can stroll into.
Oh, that is so different. And she said she's tried to make it clear that she respects his boundaries. And if he doesn't want to be disturbed, she'll never do it. And she said she's never knowingly disturbed him.
Right.
I think that would be fine. Like in that case, it's just a room that I don't want to be disturbed in when I'm working. And like you could even put a do not disturb sign on it. Oh my God, that's what they should do. A do not disturb sign.
Yeah, but you can't be. I respect the concept of feeling guaranteed that no one's going to interrupt you. Like, what if she has something happen, like the nuclear bomb dropped somewhere, And she's running in, be like, you gotta go to the basement. There's a nuclear war.
But in that case, you want to be interrupted.
No, he doesn't.
Emergencies only.
It has to. It's the concept of like knowing that when you're engaged in something, there's no chance in the world you're being interrupted.
I'm trying to have some grace for him in this scenario. I'm assuming that it's not just creative genius stuff, that maybe when he was young, he didn't have his own room, or maybe he was walked in on, or like he didn't have privacy. And then that's why he's as hell-bent on having this as he is. But I have to admit, like E, I would have a problem with this.
I also would have a problem with it.
Yeah.
If I lived with you in this situation.
Okay.
I would. I'm playing a little bit devil's advocate here.
Okay.
I think there is a legitimate chance that he's a serial killer.
Okay. That's the conclusion.
I'm starting to think about it. Okay, look, I know I'm being a little facetious with serial killer, but seriously, a little, not a lot, a little. This really smells fishy. Like not in a way like this has nothing to do with their relationship. I actually think that this is not, she can rest easy that their relationship is good. I think she should be concerned about what's going on in that room.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. I don't think this is about...
Wait, am I converting you?
Yeah, I'm slightly.
Okay.
It's not that you're converting me. I'm moving, like my serial killer pedophile was down here and just artistic privacy was up here, and now it's like here.
The lock on the door is what gets me. It's the lock on the door.
Well, is it like a
she
thing,
cannot walk in the door in her own house that she paid 50%, presumably. I mean, she didn't talk about the finances and how they split it, but it's assumed that they are getting the place together.
This is literally the setup for a horror movie. I mean, at night, she finally, she waits till he's asleep. She gives him some extra, sleep meds, and she just goes up in the dark house and she like picks the lock and she always is like,
oh, God. What's in there?
I don't know.
Let's hear the soundtrack for that. I was going with,
yeah, it would probably be that or.
Oh my, that sounds like dun dun dun.
No, that's too Mario. You know what they do nowadays? No, that's not scary. That's a video game for kids.
Oh, well, it's the ghost house.
You know what they do now? They do very low frequency, like almost like a held tuba note where it's just like,
oh yeah. No, that's very on trend right there. Okay.
It just keeps going.
Oh yeah, and then it gets louder as she notices that one of the floorboards is a little mismatched from the others, or it looks like
as she's about to go grab it from behind her, it's just you get a jump scare. No. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
No.
Did you lose something?
Stop! I can't handle horror movies.
I told you I wanted a locked room. I told you I didn't want you coming in here.
Okay, we're jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what the Shandies think of this one, because I can see some people being like, full privacy, there's nothing wrong with that. What I want from the boyfriend in this scenario is a more clear-cut reason why it needs to be only his. She cannot set foot inside. The door is locked. She's not allowed in there, whether he's there or not, whether he's working or not, whatever. What's happening?
I think she should demand to peek. I think she should say, look, just one peek, a good peek. Not like he opens the door an inch and he's like, okay, that's enough. I want to just get a good, like a perimeter, just a peruse, and that's it. She's like, I'm good.
Oh, give me a break. All the stuff that's interesting or incriminating is inside drawers.
Okay, maybe one full inspection. I've never been more in the middle on something.
Oh, wow.
It's binary for me. It's literally, it's like this is either something she should talk to the FBI about, or I just think it's a neurotic artist type who needs the space. Can she bring it to a head and be like, I don't like this?
Yeah.
I don't want you to have this.
Yeah.
And see how he reacts.
That's a good point. We should bring this around instead of talking about all those scenarios it could be. I think what we're saying is that we think you're not wrong or weird.
No.
Or misguided to be feeling a little like, about this.
Yeah, this is weird.
Yeah.
This is definitely weird. I mean, we're 100% weird. I'm not denying that. But I think there could be a silver lining. Bring it to a head. See how he reacts. That will tell. How he reacts will tell. If he gets really weird about it, then you might want to talk to the FBI.
Okay. All right, E. Sorry, I feel like she probably hoped that we would just be like, oh, ha ha ha, it's no big deal.
No,
but
this is a big deal. This guy could be like the second coming of Kaczynski.
Okay, it could be also totally innocent and nice that he just wants his own private space. Yeah. But all I can say, E, is that this would also bother me, and I would bring it to a head if I were you.
Yeah, bring it to a head. And you know how bad she'll feel if she goes in there. When he's like, fine, go into the room. Go ahead. See what's in there. And all is just these beautiful portraits of her all over the place. And a dead hooker.
Okay, E, good luck. Okay, Andy, back to favorites of 2023. Favorite movies of the year.
So there's some unfortunate symbolism in my favorite movies.
Oh.
When I was a young man, I used to go to the movies all the time. There was a movie theater right near us, Lincoln Plaza Cinemas. I used to, every Friday at work, I'd go see a movie. Every Friday, not every, but like 40 Fridays a year, I would see a movie. Indie movies, foreign movies, whatever. It was amazing. And most of them were good.
Yeah.
I don't go to the movies anymore.
Oh, that's so sad.
And one of the movies on my list is on a plane. My favorite movie from last year was on a plane. And my runner-up for my top 3 this year is on a plane.
Well, we said this in a recap that we all need to go to the movies.
I know. I didn't follow the advice.
Okay. All right. So what are your favorite movies of the year?
That being said, my favorite movie by nose is Oppenheimer.
Okay.
I also read the book, so I was a little more invested, but I thought his performance was excellent. My runner-up to that is Little Richard, I Am Everything. Fantastic biopic on a man who is extremely misunderstood and I think not known enough. Okay. Elvis even called him the true king of rock and roll. Okay. And I cried during that movie. So It automatically gets top 3.
That's documentary, right?
It's a documentary, yeah. Okay. But I cry at one movie a year. That was it.
Wow.
And my runner-up, which I did see on a plane, was BlackBerry. Okay. Which is about the phone BlackBerry, which got just decimated by the iPhone. Okay. And it's very funny and it's great. It's a great movie.
Okay. I mean, that's a positive outcome considering you don't see any movies anymore.
Yeah. I managed to get 3 in there.
I mean, the fact that I'm not even participating in this list, I think says something. Oh God, we're part of the problem.
We got to stop this.
This is one of our resolutions. Yeah, not the main resolution. We've got bigger fish to fry than seeing more movies. However, I think we should really try to make more of an effort.
We're going to try.
Quarterly, we should go to the actual movie theater.
Okay, done. Deal.
Favorite deep conversation of 2023. And we decided to make this about conversations between us, so not conversations had on the podcast.
Yeah, little chats we've had. So we were at Sotheby's just looking at stuff that we weren't going to buy. Yeah. And we were thinking like all these cars, these beautiful, like it was like an Aston Martin from 1954. There was like a Bugatti, 93 Bugatti. These are like $3-4 million luxury cars just sitting on the floor. Yet the most expensive thing by far that anyone pays for on this planet, including real estate, there is no castle on earth that costs as much as one painting.
Yes.
The most money paid for of anything on earth is paintings. Why? Why do humans pay that much for paintings? And I refuse to believe this is just a pure memorabilia thing. Like it's like comic book collecting or coin collecting.
Yeah, I think that's a factor. Like if an artist becomes really famous and iconic, and then there's the ROI and all that.
There's the history. There's always the history and the monument, who's the first who did this style and all that stuff is big. Yeah. But why? I think it's because art, just painting on a canvas, is the purest, most unfettered expression of the human soul. There's no function. There's nothing. There's no dimension. It's two-dimensional. Yeah. There's nothing. It's just a human being saying this is something. It's like the closest we can get, I think, to feeling like we're touching God, like something beyond human experience.
Yeah. There's something about them having, like the artist having physically touched it and created it. Yeah. Like the memorabilia, like something someone really famous owned or used. Yeah. It's often not something they created. Like at that Sotheby's exhibit, there were really famous jerseys.
Michael Jordan's jersey.
Yeah, or
college.
shoes or things like that. But there's something about it having been created from nothing.
Their conception of beauty out of the human experience. Yes. Like their conception of beauty inherent.
Yes.
And it's
not maybe even if it's not beauty, it's still a
expression.
Statement. Yeah, something that can truly be owned, because music, meanwhile, Like no one's going to own the original. Like if you own physically the original album to something, like whatever.
Yeah.
But you no one can own hearing a song.
Yeah.
To own that art.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
See the paint, the lumps of paint on the canvas.
What's better than lumpy paint? I love that, like really textured paintings.
Oil painting.
Yeah.
I've always been an oil guy.
Yeah.
I'm an oil man.
Okay, so that was our deep conversation.
That was it. And I would actually like to hear what the Shandies think about this because I think it's fascinating. The only thing you can buy that's more expensive than a piece of art is literally like a tech company, like Google or something.
Okay.
It's incredible.
Or an island.
Yeah, sure. I mean, then you're getting crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, I don't know if there are many islands that cost more than the most expensive painting.
Okay.
Do you know any $500 million islands?
I mean, I haven't been looking.
Not in the market?
Okay, that brings us to our final best of 2023 Q&A queue. This particular question, this is episode 214, question 5. I've been in an arranged marriage for 13 years and missed out on romance. Help.
Oh, just...
This one.
I don't even want to talk about it because I want them to just listen to it.
You know, once in a while you get a question and your perspective on it is so obvious to you and to the point where you might take it for granted. You know what I mean? But everyone's perspective is different. Everyone's life experience is different. And this is sort of a two-parter because she ended up writing an update that ended up in episode 233, which it was the final update there. And this encapsulated the idea that everything you need, you might already have.
It's the closest thing to like a Lifetime movie for a Q&A question. So a little R-rated for Lifetime.
All right, we will roll the clip. All right, this next question is from Mrs.
Oh.
Mrs. Missis. I thought that was cute. Dear Shandy.
Oh, Mrs. Got it.
Call me Mrs. I am a 35-year-old woman and I consider myself a loyal Shandy since I watch and rewatch all your videos, not just Bachelor recaps.
Wow.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Loyal. I love Charlene's banter with Andy and I can't tell you how many times I returned to videos just to listen to Andy's singing.
Oh. Wow, she has bad taste in singing.
Do you want to sing a thank you to her?
Okay. Mrs., I want to thank you for liking my singing, even though it's pretty bad.
I grew up in the Middle East and English isn't my first language. I learned English by watching 90s sitcoms and listening to English 80s and 90s songs. I hope this explains why I enjoy Andy's singing.
Now it's making sense.
Wow. I mean, her English is amazing.
Yeah.
Being from the Middle East means that I'm from a culture that still practices arranged marriages, and that's how I got married back when I was 22. While it was an arranged marriage, I still had some say in the matter, and when my husband proposed, I recalled thinking that he's not really bad looking. Also, I was thinking of more practical things, like what role do women in his family have in a household? After all, I had ambitions and I wanted to only agree to marrying someone from a family that had precedent in terms of women in the workforce. I'm happy to tell you that my husband didn't disappoint in that area. After a year of marriage, we moved to the US so I can pursue graduate school. Oh, I love this story already. Mm-hmm. I got a master's and a PhD, and I currently work in academia while my husband is a very involved stay-at-home dad. He cooks, he cleans, and he takes good care of me and our 2 kids. It helps that my love language is acts of service because he delivers. For example, last week I was late for work and was panicking because I needed to stop for fuel, which would make me even more late. However, my husband told me he woke up earlier and filled up my tank while I was sleeping, so I didn't have to worry about it.
God, this guy.
Oh my God.
Is there a problem with him? You have a problem with him?
That's so romantic.
Unbelievable. I want someone to fill up my tank while I'm sleeping or anytime.
This is one of many examples of him taking care of me. Life is good. However, I'm writing to a podcast, so there is an issue I need your help with. I'm reaching out because since we moved to the States, I can't help but feel like I missed out on romance. I actually started watching The Bachelor because I wanted to see what it's like for people to get married after knowing each other and falling in love. Andy is probably laughing at this because after watching a few seasons, I realized that The Bachelor isn't really how people end up getting married in the real world. But at least that's how I knew of Charlene, and it got me to watch you guys and learn about your experience and insights into dating and romance.
Oh, this is a real Shandy. This is so nice. Shandy through and through.
I won't lie, having an arranged marriage means that everything is practical, including sex. There was no romance. I have no idea what having physical chemistry feels like, let alone having an orgasm during sex. Don't get me wrong, I'm no master of my domain. Seinfeld reference. I have pleasured myself and I know what an orgasm is like. I just never had one during sex with my husband. It's sad since we've been married for 13 years and have 2 kids. Yes, I have been faking orgasms for 13 years. I know Charlene is probably cringing in disappointment.
Oh no.
She's such a Shandy.
Such a Shandy.
I'm so touched. Mrs. Wow, you're really coming after our hearts here. Recently, I've been educating myself about female orgasms and learned that some women don't have orgasms from penetration alone. It occurred to me that maybe I could pleasure myself through external stimulation during sex, but I'm so scared that it might hurt my husband's ego if I do that. Like I mentioned, he's a very involved stay-at-home dad, but that doesn't mean he isn't insecure about his masculinity. He already feels emasculated since he's the one doing all the cooking and cleaning, which is traditionally a woman's role in our culture. It's true that our marriage was arranged, but I grew to love him so much and I can't/don't want to do anything that could/would hurt his feelings. Did I miss out on romance and experiencing physical chemistry? Is it worth it for a woman to have an orgasm during sex? And if so, how do I even approach the subject without hurting my husband's feelings? For context, if needed, my husband is 7 years older than me and he is the only man I have ever been with. Sincerely, Mrs. I love so many things about this. I mean, obviously the orgasm part, we'll get to that, but I just... So
this is how this is going to go. I'm going to just be in charge of songs related to this question and you're going to answer it.
I really think that her husband's I don't think she needs to be like, I've been faking orgasms for 13 years. I don't think that's necessary, but I think she can be like, oh, I want to try bringing a toy into the bedroom. I want to like sort of take things up a notch. Like, I love you so much. I want to experience this together.
Okay, good. That's what I was going to say. And it doesn't have to be emasculating.
You know, she's really not in the minority to struggle to orgasm from penetration alone. And it's extremely common.
Extremely common. And I'll tell you something, she's obviously very smart.
Yeah. I mean, I never would have guessed that English wasn't her first language based on this email.
Unbelievable. Can you imagine that this person could speak a foreign language fluently? And my point is that I trust you, Mrs. that you are going to find a way to do this right. I know you can. And it might even involve saying like, look, I want you to dress up like the mailman. and it's this other thing with this toy. Don't worry about that. Just dress up like the mailman.
Yeah. What she doesn't need to share is the fact that she's maybe feeling a little sexually unfulfilled. Yeah. Like that is just not necessary. I think it should just be like, oh, I've been kind of feeling like randy lately. Why doesn't anyone use that word anymore?
Randy is a good word. There's a lot of words people don't use anymore that are great. And there's a lot of words people use that suck.
Yeah. Like why is randy worse or more old fashioned to use than horny?
Yeah. Horny's not nearly as good as randy.
Yeah, Randy's much like more elegant. It feels like, ooh.
Yeah, Randy. Randy.
It requires a British accent for some reason. I just find horny's a little like...
Horny's like it seems base. It seems crude.
Yeah.
Randy's like, it gets across the message, but it sounds dignified.
Exactly. So I think she could lean into... You know, I've been feeling frisky lately.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Look at me, I'm full of so many of these. And say like, I heard about this toy or I saw an ad for this toy, whatever. This influencer I follow everyone's advertising vibrators on Instagram now, I feel like. So I just
like Walmart sells dildos.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
Do they really?
Or Target.
Oh,
Someone sells dildos.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm telling you,
dildos.
Not like hardcore dildos that look exactly like a penis that have veins in them. I'm talking about like really subtle, like elegant ones.
Okay.
Vibrators. I'm telling you, I don't know if it's Walmart, Target, or Costco, or one of those places. I'm telling you, is selling them, and people got all up in a bundle about it.
Oh, that sounds very 2023 to me. Yeah. If you are indeed right, that sounds. Yeah. Which I mean, good. I have no issue with that. I just don't know if you're right.
It's some major retailer.
Okay.
It might not be the three I mentioned, but it's in that general genre.
Okay. I, by the way, love that they were It's an arranged marriage and they've just grown to love each other so much.
Yeah.
You know, my grandparents.
beautiful.
My grandparents were my Chinese grandparents.
Right.
Yeah, and they loved each other.
Yeah.
I think it can work a lot of the time.
Yeah, in a way, it's kind of like almost, it's like as close to like a Disney romance as you get. It's actually very romantic in its own very arranged way.
You know, let's talk about that for a second, because she says that she feels she missed out on romance because it was all about practicality, right?
Yeah.
She was looking for a man who would allow her to pursue her education.
Yeah.
But what is more romantic than a guy who's from a culture where traditionally this wouldn't be acceptable? And he's like, yeah, let's move to the States. Yeah, go get your PhD. And yeah, I'll stay home and cook and clean.
And he treats her like a queen.
Yeah, I mean, presumably, I mean, he goes and fills up the tank of gas while she's sleeping.
If he can fill up her tank of gas, then she could get her tank filled up in other ways.
I thought that joke was already made, but okay.
No, it hasn't been made yet. I wanted to make sure it got done. No, but seriously, if he's willing to do all these acts of service, he's filling up her tank, he's cooking her dinner, he's taking care of the kids. He basically gives himself to her in every way imaginable. Yeah.
She says that she feels that she missed out on romance. I want you, Mrs. Your homework is to realize how romantic us being outsiders, your story is to us.
It is.
I think it's really romantic that they were in an arranged marriage and then they came to really love each other. It's like practicality first, romance second. So what? Most of the time it's romance first and then practicality second.
Of course.
Like, it's just a different order.
Yeah.
It's practicality for a lot of people. It sounds like she has more romance in her 13-year marriage than most people have in similar length relationships that started with romance.
And I couldn't agree more. And I don't think that sex is honestly even that important a part of romance in long-term relationships. I think it actually oftentimes is one of the least important things. Acts of service, like showing other ways you love them in ways, surprising ways, like selfless ways. That's romance. Romance in the first week is sex. Okay, fine. Sometimes. But I think that this relationship has room for a whole other gear. And I think that I didn't say a whole nother gear. I don't like that. I said a whole other gear. I know you were thinking
Did
that.
you?
I said a whole other gear.
Did you?
I did not say nother.
It kind of sounded like
I didn't say nother.
You drew attention to it.
Because I had a feeling, I just felt, we know each other well. I had a feeling he said nother.
I was listening to what you were saying. I wasn't picking apart your grammar.
That's romantic. Anyway, my point is that this relationship not only is romantic in all the ways you've said, it can become even hot romantic. And I think that gear hasn't been really touched on. And I think this can be the way she allows it to enter the fray. Yeah.
Completing the reverse order thing. I think she can get there. She hasn't even tried.
Hasn't tried.
Like, look at everything else she's tried in this relationship and how it's succeeded. Like crazy. I don't think this woman fails at anything she does.
You know what she can get? She can get one of those toys where he presses the button.
Oh, yeah.
That way he's not emasculated. He's in charge. Electronically.
Yeah. No, that's a good call, actually.
Yeah.
I actually think that's kind of hot.
It's definitely hot.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Everyone likes things done to them. It's better when other people do it to you, usually. Usually. Get one of those. Now sold at Walmart.
Do you think our answer was too simplistic to that? I can't tell. I mean, if it gets deeper, I feel like you've got to go to a trained professional, which we never claim to be, by the way.
No, we are not professionals.
Yeah. You could go to a sex therapist, but I feel like you're not at that point yet.
And you're going to be into it. Trust me, it's going to work. This is going to be a good thing for both of you.
What do you mean of course she's going to be into it.
No, but I mean, it's going to be a good time. No, how else to say that?
Okay, just a couple more of these favorite of 2023 questions, Andy. Favorite moment of self-insight?
I actually, this is a little corny. I have a corny one.
Okay.
My insight this year was positive thinking doesn't cost me anything.
Ooh.
I don't have to assume everything's going to turn out badly. It's not a good strategy. Because in the end, if something does turn out not the way I wanted, I'm going to be just as upset, if not more upset, because I'm going to be stewing in the anger of thinking that I knew this bad thing was going to happen.
Yeah.
And if it's bad and I thought positively the whole time, It's the same bad.
Yes.
It doesn't make any difference, except I enjoyed positivity to the point of badness.
Oh my God, this is such music to my ears. This is one of my least favorite things about you.
Yeah, it's my least favorite thing about me too. It's number one, shame and this negative thinking. And this is the corny part, is that I don't think, it's not one of these spiritual things where I'm like, positive thinking will bring good things. But you know what? I think maybe it does a little bit.
Manifesting.
It manifests.
Yeah.
And I felt it. I felt there was a couple of times, even with things of pure chance, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get the right one. I'm gonna pick, of these two choices, I'm picking the right one. And I picked the right one. This happened one time. So now that result will carry forward for the rest of my life. But no, positive thinking, I'm gonna think positively. I'm not gonna assume that everything's gonna turn out like shit.
Oh, I love this for you because you really are a worrywart.
Yeah.
And you ruin the present.
Yes. What's the point?
I feel like in the past, and I know this is something you're still working on, you've acted like there's some prize to be won by being like, well, I knew it. I knew that terrible thing was going to happen.
But it also reinforces the negative thinking.
Yes.
It's like, oh, well, it happened. I was right. Which, by the way, I'm more often wrong about negative thinking. When I think something bad's going to happen, the good thing usually does happen. So I'm in the minority there.
Yeah.
So it reinforces, oh, negative thinking's good. It prepared you for this negative event. So do it all the time.
I think you have made the mistake of confusing expectation management with negative thinking.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
There's
And
a
you've
difference.
told me this a lot. You get credit for this. And that's not to say worrying isn't, you can worry sometimes. Like if you have a work deadline, you can be like, I have to get this work deadline done. Like you have to kind of worry about it because
Yeah.
it has to be done. But that's different. That's just something that you need to do. It's not an outcome.
Yeah. No, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, for me, mine is... we're going to go a little deep here. But honestly, 2023 has been a year of self-work for me.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really talked about this
You've
much
done a
on
lot
the
of great
podcast.
work.
Are you being sarcastic?
No,
Okay.
I'm totally being not sarcastic.
Okay, I've like really been working on myself this year more than any other year ever. And one of the things I realized was how I feel resentful over something that I do to myself, which is that I will prioritize the expectations of people who I hardly know, but people who are in my circle or even, parasocially, people on this podcast, just the expectations, the wants, the needs of other people, I will prioritize them above my own needs and then feel resentful about it. But part of the problem is that I have to come to terms with, or at least discover what my own needs even are, and how for the better part of my entire adult life, I have been making my needs what other people expect of me.
Wow, that is beautiful. I would slow clap, but it would seem sarcastic.
Well, it's a work in progress, and certainly one of those things where I'd like to think the awareness of it is the first step. And I almost feel like now is where the real work begins, right? It's the now I have to be like, but what do you want? You are bending over backwards because of the expectations of someone who hardly knows you, maybe someone who will make money off you or who just wants to have their day be a little
ulterior
bright.
motives.
Yeah, like they all have their own motives for wanting whatever from you. And I really, this gets back to the people pleasing, like I think built an identity around living up to and even exceeding other people's expectations. And the hard part now is figuring out what my own expectations are for myself.
Oh, that is the worst.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Woo,
Yeah.
very nice.
But so that's been my
very nice.
Yeah,
you're
my
very
thing.
you're so you're so good at any task I give you or anyone gives you or you are faced with, you execute with such aplomb. And I've never seen anyone do it like you. Like if I ever, even if it was something you didn't know how to do, like something totally not in your wheelhouse, if I had one person in the world to give it to you, I'd give it to you. You finish every task perfectly, and it's no surprise that the task of self-work has been attacked with such precision this year by you. I'm really impressed.
Oh, thank you, husband. That's so sweet.
You are welcome.
You're good at that. Good eyebrow. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the eyebrows.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite song we performed in 2023. This one's easy.
This is a whole new world.
A whole new world. I'll link out the episode here. We prepared that for weeks. We really did.
Okay, not weeks. It was a few days.
We performed it for my dad as a practice in Ottawa.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Not formally. Like we were like moving around the kitchen, but we sang
yeah.
it just so you could sort of get your feet wet with other people hearing it.
Your dad really got more than he bargained for with his son-in-law.
All right, Andy, that is a wrap for our final episode of 2023.
And you know that the holidays are here.
Yes.
And we will be away for the holidays.
Yes.
Taking a little break.
taking. Oh, yeah. We should mention that. We failed to mention that. We're taking 2 weeks off. And so we'll see you back here in January. So yeah, happy holidays. Happy New Year. We love our Shandies. Thank you so much for supporting us all year and just making us.
And we're going to miss them. We're going to miss the Shandies over the holidays.
Yes.
And it makes me a little sad. You could say I'm feeling a little blue.
Ooh.
Gonna be a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't be the same, dear, if you're not here with me. And when those blue snowflakes
Andy,
start falling.
Andy's such a good Elvis impression.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Oh.
I mean, I've had it in the vault for a while.
Oh, so you agree? You think you do
I agree
good?
with the compliment you're giving me.
All right, that is it. Shandies, thank you so much for spending your 2023 with us.
I'm doing the hand thing, the emoji.
Oh, yeah. Apparently that's not thank you. That's a prayer.
No, it says when I type in thank you, it shows that. So then
Oh, really?
Apple's got it wrong.
I use it as thank you.
It's thank you.
Okay.
It's Apple thinks it's thank you, then it's thank you.
Apple knows all. If you enjoyed what you heard today, we're going to do our spiel. You know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, and
TikTok,
leave us Apple and
Spotify
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends, and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. We wish you a happy holiday season, a happy new year, all the things, and we'll see you here in January. Bye-bye. Dear Shandy.